Alright guys, so I'm coming back at you. In my little truck video, I think I said that I was going to probably do a copper lock update as my next video. But I'm actually still waiting on a recent acquisition on the copper lock collection. And I thought as soon as I make a copper lock video, then I'll have this one that I haven't been able to show yet. So I've been wanting to get a video out. And I kind of had a little bit of time this afternoon. The wife has the kids at a water park, and so I thought, heck, I'll just get these Stag knives out because I've added a lot of these to the collection as well. But first things first, I want to shout out my buddy Bryson over at Motown EDC. Got some stickers from him here. I sent him some stickers. Now, I have actually reached out to a few of you guys that I'm going to send some stickers to, but I haven't gotten them all together yet. And I just wanted to make one. Trip to the post office when I take those stickers, or actually I might just put them in my mailbox, you know. But I don't have many stickers. I'm just one of those guys that I don't know how to put it without it sounding like I don't care. But you know, getting stickers made up and stuff like that, it's just never been like a huge priority of mine. I do have some made, and I'll show you one. Here's one of my stickers. Dropped it. These are homemade, basically. We made these with sticker paper on our printer. So these are by no means the kind of quality stickers that most of y'all have. So if I send somebody one, or if anybody reaches out and they really, really want one, just remember they're not going to be the kind of sticker that's going to be able to withstand water and weather and stuff like that. So they're pretty much just some homemade stickers, but they'll still be cool to put on the desk or a toolbox, or just to lay them out, you know. Anyway, stuff like that. So let's get to this. Let me show you some things that I've acquired here recently that aren't necessarily Stag handled knives, but just some stuff that I want to maybe show. So recently I found this on eBay, and this thing was on there for like 35 bucks. This is a old Schrade USA multi-tool. Some of y'all may be familiar with this. I really like this simple design, and I like the way this folds up. As you can see, there's the Schrade USA. I don't know exactly like what model they call this or anything, but you've got all your tools back here. You've got a saw blade, a knife blade with a half serration. You've got a Phillips head, a flat head, a can opener. You've got some kind of a there's some kind of a little, I don't know if this is like something for stripping wire or what it is, but anyway, you got these tools. You've got a file here. You've got on the other side, you've got a little scale, a little ruler with like a fish hook remover. You know, just your pretty typical stuff. You do have a nice serrated knife here. And so these lock, and the way this works is these tabs here are kind of spring down, and these two tools, one on either side that you can see kind of stick up right here, you push those and it actually pushes on this lock plate here and releases the tool. And I actually had to work on this. Obviously this was a secondhand multi-tool. I got this thing for like 20 bucks. I made an offer and they accepted it. And when I got it, I realized one of these spring bars had been flared out or stretched out beyond what it would spring back to. So after fooling with it for a little while, I finally got all the tools open on this side, and you can maybe see right there's the dent. I took like a round blunt punch and I punched it from the inside, and that kind of curled that bar back into place. See, you can't see any gap there between the bar and the tools. Before there was a big gap and none of the tools would lock. So other than this little dent right here, which doesn't affect anything, I've got a completely functioning and locking multi-tool here. And yeah, I've really been enjoying this. So I'm not really the kind of guy that likes to say, oh, here's my EDC. I just kind of hate goofy labels like that. No offense to anyone. But I just don't use the term EDC a whole lot. But as far as everyday carry, I have been wearing this every day in this Schrade multi-tool sheath here. So that's been something that's been a pleasant addition. I've actually used this a lot. I used the pliers when we went fishing the other day. Just really came in handy, and the sheath here is great. I don't think it ever got carried much. I mean, it's a little scratched up, but when I got it, the belt loop here had really no signs that a belt had ever been through it. So now that I've worn it for a couple of weeks, you can tell that it's getting some wear. But anyway, so that was pretty cool. And then at a flea market, I mean, not a flea market, but an antique store the other day, I scored a couple of items. I got this little sheath for $10. Now, granted, this is a little crude compared to what most of y'all leather makers are putting out these days, but for $10, I grabbed this thing. You know, it's an odd size because something like this copper lock is going to be a little bit loose. And then something like this bigger knife here, you know, this might go. It's a little cramped, maybe depending on how you put it in there. You know, it might ride like that, even though it's a little high. I don't know what I'll do with this yet, but anyway, found this thing for $10. It's pretty good leather. Seems to be built okay. Another thing I found in that same place was this little stone. And, you know, you can see it's been banged around a little bit. And by the looks of this base, I'm pretty sure this probably had a cover, you know, a lid, basically, that would have covered this stone. But it didn't have any of that. And I got this for like $9. And I like a fine stone. You know, I like to get my knives sharp and then use a fine stone and a strop to just maintain the edge. So this has got a real good feel to it. I don't know what grit it is, but it's really smooth. It's almost like ceramic smooth. I mean, you can't even hardly feel it, but it will polish an edge. And then lastly, here's a little piece that I've been hunting for forever. It's not that I can't find them, it's just that I haven't been able to find exactly the one I wanted. So this one here I found. I actually paid $15 for this dinky thing, but it doesn't have any holes in it. That's not rust either. That's just some kind of like paint or varnish that's on there. I could probably get that off. But the stem is in good shape. It's not bent. It's not crooked. It looks like it probably did the day it was made. And got that good sound to it. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I've got my camera kind of high away from the table to try to get all the knives in the frame, so I'm kind of looking at what I'm doing and not so much through the camera. So excuse me if my camera work stinks on this video. But yeah, I've been really wanting one of these little guys for a while. I'm gonna put, you know, everybody's got their particular oil they like. I kind of like regular old household 3-in-1 oil. Something like this. I actually bought this can. It's an old metal can. I don't think you can get these in metal cans anymore, but I found this one at an antique store a while back, and I actually filled it with 3-in-1 oil from a newer plastic can. And this is this little dropper here is what I've been using to oil my pivots and things. And guys, I don't really get real crazy with oil, and I've had a video idea on my mind for a while to kind of demonstrate what could kind of be the pros, but mainly the cons of putting a lot of oil in your knife pivots. Really, I like knife pivot oiling for brand new knives that maybe need some of the grime broken out of them. And I like oiling the pivots if I'm going to store the knife, but I don't necessarily like to oil the pivots and then put the knife in my pocket. So one of these days I'm going to do a little demonstration on what I'm talking about with that. So with all those things out of the way, let's talk about some stag handle knives. I think I'll go smallest to largest, and this is just going to kind of be a show and tell. There's no reason for me to try to go into any kind of history of knife patterns or anything like that. I'm just going to show you these knives for those of you who haven't seen them. and show the ones that I've acquired recently. And if y'all caught one of my other videos, the stag handle knives and even more so stag handle knives with carbon steel blades, but I've kind of drifted into this stag cover, traditional, slip joints and lockbacks and things, and that's kind of where my interest is here lately. I guess I could go ahead and mention this. I got this at the same antique store as the oil can. A guy had a little box of these little antler tips, and he was only asking like $4 a piece. And you can see this is this little stag piece is not really big enough to try to make a knife handle out of. But I thought, how cool would it be to drill a little hole in this and maybe use it as a keychain or just a little dangler on a slip. Anyway, this stag was so gnarly, I said, I've got to have that for $4. And actually, if you tried to split this down the middle to make a knife handle out of, you would lose these killer ridges anyway, because that would be where your cut would be. But I just had to have this little piece. It's just really cool. This was probably a brow tine, or just a little kicker down near the base of the antler. You get all that popcorn and those gnarly ridges. It kind of looks like a snapping turtle's tail, or an alligator tail or something. So had to have that for $4. Going to come up with something kind of neat to do with that. So anyway, back to the knives. So the first one that I'll show y'all is this little peanut here. Now, I've never made any bones about it. I do not care for small knives. I've just got big hands, and a knife like this, I will actually fumble this knife trying to open it probably more times than I will be able to get it open cleanly. But I found this at an antique store one day for like $30, and it was like, not only was it the best looking knife in the whole place that day, but it was actually probably one of the cheapest knives in the whole place. And I said, yeah, I'm not a peanut fan, but I've got to carry this one home with me. So anyway, standard peanut, but it does have some really nice stag to it. So there's that one. I want to go down here next to this one here. This is a mini trapper. Quick little story about this one. This one was on eBay listed as a bone stag, and the guy wanted $30 for this knife. Now, you'll notice this side here really has no character at all other than the color and a little bit of a hump right here. This one almost looks like smooth bone, but you can see how fat it is. And then this side's not too bad. This side has some ridges and some character in it. But again, standard knife, standard mini trapper, nothing special about it. I did get a good deal on it though. Here's one that y'all have seen if you watch the videos on the channel. This is a medium Congress knife. This knife actually does have some pretty nice stag to it. Both sides look pretty good. I got this knife for I think $100. This one's actually one of my more expensive purchases, but you'll pay up for stag sometimes. This one's built very well with 4 back springs with 4 blades. There's not a gap to be found. So once I looked at this and examined it, I was pretty satisfied paying $100 for it. I got this knife at the same place, the same antique store. This is a 18 pattern medium Stockman, and this one doesn't have the greatest stag in the world, but it's not terrible either. And I actually got this one for $85, and we were on vacation, not actually, we didn't actually leave town, but we were I took about 4 days off one week, and me and the wife and kids, we just kind of went out and did some fun stuff. We kind of picked something that each person wanted to do, and we did that for the day. And of course, my fun thing to do was to hit up some antique stores, and kind of went back to this one because I had found that Congress in the past, and sure enough, he had a few more. And so I got this 18 pattern Stockman. Now, I'm not a terribly huge fan of the 18 Stockman, to be honest with you. I just, and it basically boils down to the clip point blade. It's just so slender and skinny, It's almost like, besides peeling an apple or cutting a piece of twine, I don't think I'd feel too good doing a whole lot of work with that thin little, what do you call that, long Turkish clip. It's almost like a muskrat blade. Now the sheep's foot here is pretty good blade, but these knives here, these 18s, they're still kind of on the small side. I don't really carry a mini trapper or an 18 or anything smaller than that. But this was basically bought as a collector's piece. It's got a little bit of age on it. You can see that shield right there. I don't remember exactly what this one is. Maybe a 2009. It's just got one dot. So yeah, it's not a brand new knife, but it's not terribly old either. I like that shield though. I really like that case with the double X beside it. Several of my copper locks have that from the 90s. The next one here, now this one's going to throw y'all for a loop. I preach about not fooling with these old Chinese knives, and everybody's got their opinion on that. I won't say this was a surprise or an impulse buy, but I did find this little lockback on eBay for like $15. And I just thought, what the heck, I'm going to lowball them, and I'm going to say $8. And I think it was like $2 shipping or $3. It was kind of low, I thought, for shipping. Normally shipping starts out at about $4.50 or $5 and goes on up to $10, whoever you're dealing with. But I knew that this thing had genuine stag. I could tell that from the pictures. Now, this Damascus is not real. It's convincing. It's a pretty convincing pattern. It looks like it could be real, the way the lines are thin in some spots and they're thicker in others. But I think that when you turn it to the spine, you don't see any kind of layering in there whatsoever. I mean, it looks just like the back spring. So I'm pretty convinced this is just an etch, some kind of laser etch. This is a Fox and Hound knife. And like I said, I do believe it's made in China, but I literally got this thing for like, it might have been $10. And you know what? It's just a stag piece. That's the only reason I bought it, is because it had stag on it. This will probably be one that I'll give to one of my boys, and it's kind of a nice knife with the stag, but if they lose it or tear it up, destroy it, break the blade off, it won't be the end of the world. But yeah, I'm definitely not a Chinese knife guy. Here's one. This is not a USA blade, but this is a German blade. This is a Bulldog brand. This one here I inherited from my father-in-law when both my in-laws had passed. Found this one alongside a really killer case copperhead. And so this one doesn't get any pocket time much, unless it might just be to church or a special dinner. And the only reason for that is I just don't want to lose my father-in-law's knife. That's all it boils down to. I just don't want to lose it. I'd rather it live its life as a desk ornament and a collection piece than anything. But yeah, this Bulldog brand knife has killer blade action. No half stops on it, which doesn't bother me. But yeah, this thing will take your finger off if you're not careful. But yeah, that's another great stag piece with the big shield there. Really cool stag on this side. Here's one. Sorry, my phone battery's going a little dead. Here's one that I'm just absolutely in love with. This is a GEC Viper, GEC 47 Viper. Obviously, it does have half stops and a killer action. And I don't know if the light will pick it up or not. This fluorescent light doesn't do this patina any kind of justice. But this does have all the tiners. Cut a lot of apples, a lot of strawberries, and some steaks and stuff. Just pretty much every chance I get to put some patina on this knife, I do it. But yeah, this thing is just killer. I was able to work a deal out in a trade, and this is kind of funny. I traded my beloved Stag case sow belly for this knife. I actually might have traded it and another knife, but the sow belly was in that deal, and it was like, oh, I cannot believe I traded my sow belly, even though this is like my absolute holy grail, and it still is. But I couldn't believe I traded my beloved sow belly. Everybody that had ever seen this knife just went nuts over it, and I had so many offers to buy it, trade it, whatever, and I turned them all down, and the only thing in the world that I was willing to trade this knife for was this 47 Viper. And the guy that I traded it to, I guess he knew that, and when some other trade deal came along, well, I tell you what, he acquired another one of these, another case Stag Rancher Series sow belly with the CV blades. He acquired another one, and it had really good stag on it as well. And after he got his, his second one, he asked me if I'd like to have this one back, and we could trade it out some way. And I think I turned around and traded two more knives of mine, two more nice ones of mine, just to get this one back. But I really appreciated that opportunity to get this back, because this is truly, like, if I don't keep this knife till the day I die, this will be the kind of knife that I would give to one of my sons on their wedding day, or the day of their, child's birth, or some really significant event. This is the kind of knife you hand down to one of your kids. So yeah, this one will never go anywhere. I kind of learned my lesson. It worked out great in the end, but if I hadn't been dealing with such a great guy, it might not have worked out that way. So here's another German blade here. This is a hen and rooster, and really fell in love with this one. This is my first and only experience with a hen and rooster, but I knew they were nice. This one here is no exception. I mean, look at that. If that's like almost not the most perfect piece of stag for a knife, I don't know what is. I mean, it's the thing about stag is it's perfectly imperfect, but this one with its almost symmetrical grooves, I mean, it's just really something. Gosh, I just almost can't even stop looking at it sometimes. This knife also has carbon blades. This side is not as symmetrical, but it's got some really killer grooves in it. Just a really nice piece. But yeah, like I said, this one's got carbon steel blades as well. I've got this one oiled up. But killer action on this knife. Really proud to own this one. Moving along here, we're almost done. Here's another Grail piece. This is a Stag copper lock. And I believe the last time I did a Stag video, I left this one out because it stays in the copper lock collection. I keep all my copper locks on this big piece of oak, almost like a plaque. And they normally lay right here across the table where I'll have all these knives laid out. So the last time I did a video, I think I left this one out. But this one here's got a really nice piece of Stag right here on this show side. And then, like a lot of Stag knives, the pile side's not near as good. But that's fine. It is what it is. This knife is built extremely well. This is a 1997, which, if you know, that's the first year they came out with a copper lock. So it's kind of cool to have a first year. I have a few 97s, but this one in Stag being a first production year makes it really cool. It's got that shield like I was just talking about. The case with the double, it's a case with a dash and a double X. These shields remind me of like the, 90s, I guess, maybe even into the late 80s, but this shield always reminds me of a 90s knife, more so than one like this. This one looks like a more modern shield to me. I know they kind of go back and forth a little bit with what they do, but yeah, like I said, kind of another Grail knife right here. I just love, we're not going to get on a copper lock tangent right now because I'm going to have a video coming up on those, but I just love the aesthetics of a copper lock. The clip point is just perfectly proportioned. I love the copperhead bolster, the way it kicks down right here and gives you a nice place to put your finger. To me, if I was designing a pocket knife and I had the ability to really put my thoughts on paper to make a design, this is what I would have come up with. Just a real piece of art, in my opinion. And I guess that's why I've got about 22 of them, because I just really do appreciate them that much. So I think we're down to one more knife. This one here is pretty special. I mean, you just don't find stag knives like this every day. Not anymore. I heard on the video from the case man himself, Maury, they just can't get this kind of stag imported anymore from India, sandbar stag. There's been an embargo on that stuff for years, and what he basically said what they had in the factory was what they had, and most of it was smaller pieces like what you might find on, say, a peanut. And y'all know by looking at what's been coming out lately, there's just not too many stag knives left. I think I saw a few genuine stag on the Pocket Hunter Vault knives, but after that I don't really think that I've seen too many, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. But this here is an XX changer, and it has just really killer stag on both sides. This knife came with the sheath and 3 other blades, a drop point, a saw, and a like a fillet knife, a thin, fillet knife, a utility blade, what they call it. And it also came in a big display tin, so that was pretty cool. And I got the whole thing for like $85 on eBay. So this is just an epic knife. I don't carry this much, but if I'm going camping, this knife is definitely going to be there. Just really nice, really, really nice. Super proud to have this one. So we're at about 27 minutes. I don't really think I've got much left to talk about. Like I said, there's going to be a copper lock video coming out soon. I've got one I'm waiting on. It's kind of lost in the mail. It's been here and there and everywhere. So hopefully I'll get it maybe in the morning, or gosh, it'll be Monday if I don't get it tomorrow. But hopefully it gets here, because it's a very, very special piece. It kind of completes a set, a little mini set that I've got going on. So I'm really stoked to have it. And my battery is literally dying. I'm on 10% now, so I'm gonna wrap this up. But as soon as I get that copper lock, and I actually have the natural bone Warncliffe in the carbon steel, I have it coming as well. Not sure when it'll get here, because they kind of just said in June. But hopefully it gets here soon. I'm probably going to try to make that video as soon as I get this next one, though, because like I said, it completes a series, and so it's going to be something I'm going to want to show y'all. But yeah, I thought just to get a video out, I'd show y'all these stag pieces. And sorry if my camera work wasn't too good today. Like I said, I've got the camera raised up a little higher than normal, and I'm kind of having to work around it funny. But we're coming up on 30 minutes, and I appreciate y'all if you're still watching. Like I said, shout out to Bryson at Motown EDC. I appreciate his videos. He's a young guy, but he understands quality knives. He's not going to show y'all any Chinese junk, and he appreciates fine leather, and that's the kind of stuff that I like. So check him out when you get a chance. And I'm not going to do a bunch of shout outs because I'll forget somebody, but as always, shout out Kent Smith. Kent Smith does some of the most epic leather work you'll find. And what I mean by epic is when Kent builds a slip or a sheath, it is out of some of the finest leather you will find. This one here obviously wet formed to my Buffalo Jumbo Trapper, and man, I can't say enough good things about Kent Smith. And as always, my buddy Big J, my partner in crime, brother from another mother. One of these days we're going to get together and hang out. But anyway, I'm going to quit rambling and let y'all get on with it. So we appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.